Friday. So let us now write the expanded notation. Number 1. So you have 6.78 times 10 to the power of positive 7. So when you are instructed to write in expanded notation, the very first strategy that you need to do is you have to look at your exponent. So your exponent is the deciding factor whether your value is big or small. When you say big, greater than this value, or should be smaller than this value. First, look at the sign. The sign here is positive. There's no sign, so it's understood to be positive. So positive 7 means that your value here, your value in the mantissa, has to increase. By how many times? By moving your decimal point here 7 times to the direction where it will get bigger. So conceptually, if you want to make 6.78 a big number, where should you be moving your decimal point? Should you be moving it left, to the left, or to the right? Unmute, please. To the right. Okay, so that's the concept that I want you to understand, okay? So you move 7 times to the right. You already have 2 numbers there existing. So the first 2 is already taken by 7 and 8. You lack 5 more. So the other numbers that you need to fill in will just be automatically be filled in by 0. So that means you lack 5 more zeros, so you can put 5 more zeros there. And then you can start regrouping it so that by 3, so that you will be able to write it accurately when you are to write your final answer. So that means 5 zeros with 6, 7, 8. That means I have the final answer to be 67,800,000. So it's important that you put a comma to emphasize your grouping. Okay?
Let's have a question.
Yes.
So we don't do nothing with the 10?
No. The 10, remember, that's for the scientific notation. That's the format of scientific notation. So you do not mind that when you are expanding. What you're minding is the exponent, so it will tell you where to move your decimal point and how many times. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And can you do another one with the expand?
Yeah. We have 5 more. We have 4 more. Remember, we have 5 items here. And listen, your given was 6.78. Your given has 3 significant figures, right? So that means in your final answer, there should also be 3 significant figures because it wasn't stated. And the way we wrote it here, if you look at it, there's no decimal point. And so the zeros to the right will just be there, but they're not counted as significant. So if you inspect your final answer, we also have the same number of significant figures, which is 3. Okay, so we're not changing the significant figures at all. Questions on this particular item?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to the second one. The second one is, let me write it down, 5.601 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay? Again, the strategy here is you have to inspect or look at the exponent and the sign. The exponent is negative 3. The negative means that the mantissa value here should be smaller than what it is right now. And so, where do we move our decimal point to make it smaller than 5.601? Where do we move? To the left. Okay, 3 times. And so you already have 5. So that's 1. So that means you need to fill it in by 2 more zeros to have the 3 exponent. And so the decimal point automatically will be before that 2 zeros. Okay? So now how are we going to write that? So that's going to be, to write formally a number less than 1, because this is less than 1, you should begin by writing a 0. This 0 is not part of these two zeros here. But we write this beginning 0 just to emphasize our decimal point. Okay? This is the way we write very small numbers, that we begin that 0 automatically. Again, always begin with that 0 if your value is less than 1, such as this case. So after the decimal point, that's your decimal point there, we write 2 zeros. So we write 2 zeros, and then 5 after that, 5, and then 6, 0, 1. So that's your final answer to number 2. You also notice that I grouped the numbers by 3 after the decimal point to make sure that we write it also in a very organized way. We have 4 significant figures in here, 5, 6, 0, 1, which is also the number of significant figures in the given. So we're not changing the significant figures at all. Any questions with number 2?
No, miss.
Others? Please unmute if you have questions, okay? 10 seconds. And don't forget to write the answers down on your notebook, or correct yourself if you answered and there's a little mistake. So correct yourself. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is 8.90 times 10 to the power of 1, positive 1. So now, because it's positive 1, that means the mantisa here has to be bigger than 8.90. So where do we move again our decimal point? We're going to move to the left or to the right?
To the right.
To the right. How many times? Just one time. Right? Just one time. So that's going to be 8 and 9. 89, right? 89. Should we express it as 89.0 or just plainly 89? Let me know what's your answer. Should it be 89.0 or 89?
I put 89.0.
89 point? Okay.
But
to decide, look at your given again. Your given was what? Your given has how many significant figures initially? 8.90. How many significant figures is 8.90? It has a decimal point, okay? And there's a 0 to the right. So that means how many significant figures do we have in here? 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. It should be 3. Why 3? Because the 0 to the right is counted in this case because of the decimal point. Correct? Remember our rules for significant figures. The zeros to the right can be counted if there is a decimal point, which is here. So that means in our given, we have 3 significant figures. And so in our final answer, when we expand this, how many significant figures should we have? Also 3, because it's not stated. So therefore, we stick with 89.0 or 89.
89.0.
Okay, the 89.0. So the 89 will be cancelled there. Okay? So 89.0 is the final answer to number 3. Yes.
Someone in the chat, Janessa said that she's here. Like she said that she had trouble with the Wi-Fi, so she's here now.
Oh, okay. Who's that? Oh, Janessa?
Janessa.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. So that is for number 3. Catch up, please, Janessa. Anthony, you have questions? Do you understand why we counted the 0 now? Right? because of the decimal point. So that's why it's 3 significant figures. Okay. Okay, thank you, Anthony, for the confirmation, the quick confirmation. Number 4. Number 4. Where's my picture? Okay. Number 4. It's 3.551 times 10 to the negative 5. Okay, so our exponent is negative 5. So negative should make this number smaller than what it is right now. So that means we have to move the decimal point to the, altogether, to the left 5 times. So 3 is already taken as 1. So that means we're going to add 4 zeros. And the decimal point should be there before those zeros. And now when we're ready to write, that's going to be, because it's less than 1, I said you have to have a 0. And then you start with your decimal point. And now we have 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3. And then we have another 0, 4. Then 3, 5. And then another 5 with a 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. Also 4 significant figures in the given. Questions on this particular number?
No.
Okay. And lastly, number 5. Number 5 is 4.56 times 10 to the power of positive 2. So therefore, look at the exponent again. And that's positive 2. That means you just move 2 times to the right or left?
Right.
Right, 2 times. So therefore, our final answer will just simply be 456. No need to add any zeros at all. Okay. And now, period 1. Who needs time to finish their part 1? Raise your hand. Who needs time